Good evening, guys. It's O'Neill Anderson here from Global FX. I just want to give you guys a quick update and a couple of tips with regard to the AUDJPY setup that I've sent earlier on. I did receive a few questions and a few people that are already short on this trade here, but I just want to give you guys a few tips. I will send exact entry and exit points in our private signals groups. But on Telegram, I've just sent out this setup for free, right? Now, what we can see here, where price is currently at, price has broken. It's a 4-hour time frame, by the way. We can see that price has broken this level of support, so we're looking for a retest of that level of support, which will now serve as resistance, and then we'll wait for our confirmation candlesticks, as well as other price action confirmations. Then we'll actually jump short on this trade. Now if you just look quickly, I just want to give you a quick hint here. If you look at Australian impact news coming in at 3:30 in the morning, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you should just check your economic calendar. Go to its trade balance that's coming at 3 in the morning. So, and it is high impact news, so it will have a big increase on the Australian dollar. It's trade balance that's being released now. Trade balance, basically, it just it's basically the difference between your exported and imported goods and services, right? And as you know that Australia is heavily dependent on gold exports, and if you're looking at this whole coronavirus, what's been happening in countries, Australia as well, I mean, we have national, countrywide, worldwide lockdowns and so forth. So obviously that gold hasn't been exported as much in Australia. Now basically with export and imports, the difference between those two values, a positive value will actually give you an indication that more goods and services has been exported than the actual imports. So that, and remember that the exports of a particular country, it's directly linked or directly proportional to the demand for that particular currency. Because I mean, if you're looking at Australia, if they exporting gold, meaning they're sending gold to other countries or they're transporting gold to other countries, that will increase the demand for AUD or Australian dollar. So if the exports aren't as much, obviously then the demand for that particular currency isn't as much, because for Australia to actually like import their gold or services, it's not necessarily only gold, but gold is a heavily it contributes heavily to the net exports of that particular country, in this case, which is Australia. So it's always important to always look at your fundamentals before actually taking a trade or while you're in a trade. So obviously with the whole coronavirus, not much exports and imports have been taking place. So I'm expecting the value might be positive, but it will probably just be not probably, it will be less than the previous trade balance figures that we did have. And yeah, some of you might ask, because I had one question the other day. I actually did discuss this afternoon, actually this morning, sorry, with one of the guys, and they couldn't understand as to why does the demand of AUD, why is it directly proportionally, or why is it directly linked to the exports. The reason being is because, like, if foreigners, right, actually they need to first convert their currencies into Australian dollars before purchasing whatever product or services from Australia, or that Australia is actually exporting. So that obviously does then create a huge demand for the Australian dollar. Right, okay, but enough about that. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick tip. Just keep an eye on that. Now, when you're looking at the technicals here, recall that I said that we'll be looking to go short at the retest of my first preference was a break of the level of support and to go short at the retest. Now we can see that we did have a break of the support. Price did come up to retest and had a bit of bearish momentum there. But now what's important, if you're looking at this particular retest, there's nothing exciting about that retest. There's no candlestick price action that excites me to actually to have entered short on this trade here. So I left it. I'm hoping for a retest, another retest, and then we can probably have like bearish engulfing candlesticks or inverted hammers and all sorts of, not all sorts, there's particular reversal candlesticks that I look at upon retest. And it can happen that it doesn't come to retest at all and does make it all the way down. But then it's better to miss an opportunity than not to be sure about it. Another thing that we can see is that if you just take a trend line and you just draw in a trend line here, right, we can expect price to actually test this trend line here, right? So other people, they might just be actually caught in a trade here, so it could just come a bit higher than a retest of that descending trend line. And I know other people will actually be looking to buy this pair, which I'm not saying it's wrong for you to buy it, but I'm just giving my own opinion. It doesn't serve as any financial advice, just remember that. And people might be caught up in the long trade thinking that price will go all the way up, but in my opinion, I'm not looking for any long trade. So I'm looking for price to retest this level of support, which now serves as resistance, or ultimately a retest of this descending trend line, and then we'll be looking to have a trade short. And another thing, this retest here, it is approximately 38.2 retracement, 38.2 to 50%, depending on where you pull your fib from. If you're going to pull your fib from here, right at this swing high here, so right from this swing high here to what seems to be a low, so this will give you around 38.2 will be approximately there. So I'll be looking for a fib retracement, and our stop losses, I'll just have it depending on where we have our entry, but preferably that if you can have an entry at a retracement of 38.2, which will be in this support resistance zone here, as well as this descending trend line, then I'm looking to have my stop loss at around 61.8 fib retracement, and obviously my take profit. Okay, I will just update you guys on take profits and so forth, but I'll send exact entry and exit points on the private signals network groups.